Item number 8, discussion and possible action to approve the City of Guthrie Streets Committee recommendation for solicitation of funds for the fiscal year 2019 capital improvement program. Denny, are you presenting that?
I think we should defer. We have a city council street committee, and I think we ought to defer to them initially to make the presentation. The only thing that I would point out is, remember, this is just authorizing us to go out to solicit bids. It's not awarding the contract, so you will get another bite at the apple once we receive the bids as far as approving awarding the contract.
Okay, the members of the Streets Committee, there's one member from each of the wards. Would you like to make your comments, please, on the recommendation?
I'm going to make a comment that we go ahead and approve this. Like Kenny was saying, is that this is not a vote on what we're going to do. This is just to put out the bids to see what we can get done. We haven't done anything for 2 years, is that correct? All right. And we're only doing, what, about a mile a year? If you combine all of that together, it's about 1 mile, I think. So we're three-quarters of a mile, okay. So we're doing 140 miles of road, and none of us will be around when this all gets taken care of. So, you know, if you have any questions, ask. I mean, you know, we went back and tried to get something from each one of the wards, and I think that's what needs, that's what needed to be done. That's why Mr. Case didn't vote on it, but Z's on there, Jim Case is on there, and I'm on there.
So when you guys picked this, did you think about the 180,000 in there that, when this does go out to bid, I know we don't know if that's going to cover it, probably won't.
We considered how much we had. We
Right.
considered the idea of waiting on some of this stuff and letting that money build up so we can do more bigger streets later. And we got some things that need to be done now.
Yeah.
And
And we are going to take some of that money and put into the account for the bridge.
And
We've got
I
to get the bridge
don't
done.
think that it matters, really, in my opinion, whether we have something in all wards or not. If you got a street that needs it really bad, that's where it goes, and that's the way I see it. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't be splitting it up that way because we'll never get everything done. Because we'll have to have, if you got one major thing that needs to be done in one ward, and then that's where the money goes that year.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I think
But the proposals did reflect
They did reflect that.
projects in all three
It did,
wards.
but I don't think it has to. I think we need to get off of that.
I think First Street's pretty bad between Noble and Cleveland. That's a rough ride right there in front of the,
Well, that's what we've been talking
Funeral
about. I
home.
mean, you get to the point where you go out and say, well, I'm going to go out and fix, well, Chris Evans has got a road out to his place. Well, I'm going to go out and fix Chris's road and say the rest of you don't get anything. Well, we're getting to the point where we're just picking and choosing, and we've got to go fill the holes over here. And like, Tenny was saying, we've got places that haven't had blacktop on it ever, but we need to just, we need to set up, like, Z's saying, we need to get off this Ward 1, 2, and 3. We just need to go out and say, we're going to go fix the worst road, and then next year we'll fix the next worst road, and so on and so forth.
Who was on the Ward 1, 2, 3 thing?
Well, I'm on here, Z's
Jim
on
Case.
here, and Jim Case.
No, but he was saying we need to get off of this priority.
Well, that seems to be what everybody's saying. How come last time they said, those streets were identified as being in Ward 3 by mistake, and they
Yeah,
weren't.
they weren't.
It didn't really matter. They were still the worst streets
Right.
that we considered.
Yeah, the ward where it went made no difference to me.
And that's
What I
what
was,
we're saying.
what I'm
What
not
we're
that
saying, it
crazy
doesn't make a
about
difference.
Yeah.
is the same thing came back to us, other than we put in 2 or 3 more spots in my ward. But my deal, the reason I didn't like it the first time, I didn't agree with, on Terra Lane redoing a whole street when the guy needs 60 feet of blacktop to meet the end of the road, and his street's as smooth as this desk.
You want to answer that one?
Whenever I go out and I evaluate streets and look at them, I look at several different things, from our drainage aspects to, you may have a really good smooth surface on a road, but the entire road may then show alligator cracking, is what we call it. The road itself may be smooth, but you've got that entire road covered in alligator cracks. water's getting in them surfaces. And if we're going to have a contractor out there at the time to do 60 feet of road, to extend that road to a property owner's house, why not have him go ahead and take care of that entire stretch in that addition while he's there? That's kind of what I look at whenever I'm evaluating them and making decisions.
Well, what I was, talking about, we're gonna smear it out while we're there, and then we got, on West Vilas, those pictures I gave you, those things that turn over a Volkswagen right in front of their mailboxes, and we can't get anything out there. And I know we're back to this, addressing it here, addressing it there, but to me, I just felt like smearing it out on that whole block, smearing it out there behind the junior high where it's a flat road that it could be dirt as far as I'm concerned. Nobody drives on it. It's worthless. It gets no traffic, yet we're gonna pave a
I think
block.
you're mistaken about nobody driving on that. I think
They
that's-
do drive on it.
That's a.
Which road are you
It's
talking?
also a fire.
The dead end into the back of the junior high.
One thing on that road, if I can touch a little bit on it, I pulled it up actually at our street committee meeting. We pulled the roads up and they could view them right there. And they actually was able to see the water. It had recently been after a rain and water down both gutter lines, probably 2 to 3 inches deep where it holds water. And another thing with that being right there by a school, our fire trucks, if they respond to a fire up there, hopefully never, but setting up a ladder truck on a road or a surface like that is probably for sure impossible for like the ladder truck or something like that. We want to make sure we try to follow same keep our roads up to a level of standards that fits all departments.
So the holes that'll turn over a Volkswagen on West Vilas, are they up to standard? Or are they ever coming up to standard? Or what?
I'm sure it's on our list. We do have a list of roads that's a working document, that list. I have it with me over here. It changes daily as requests come in and we go out and do site inspections on different roads and conditions of roads change. I mean, the list that you provided to me, I think we've addressed, for the most part, all of the stuff on Southwest 19th that was an issue. We're working on the one in front of the old hospital, started it today. James, on the spot up here, it's on our list. Some of these projects have been kind of prolonged because we've been trying to get ODOT to address the one up here. We felt it was part of that project due to some of the utility repairs and stuff. We was not successful there. The spot in front of the old hospital, we tried to get it addressed by the contractor.
That's what I was wondering, if we ended up having to do that, or did they?
Cruz was out there till about 7:30 this evening, still working on it.
The better thing with them guys, and I'm just being a crackpot here, but they want their certificate of occupancy next time. How about you close up our street and make it right, and then you'll get your certificate?
We try to make it work that way. If we can
Well,
get everything in line and
I
before
say
giving an
2020,
occupancy letter, we make sure everything's covered.
We were probably not as
Talking about
forceful
right
on that one as we should have been.
I know you can't really see it much.
I'd like to add the alleyway for Bank First drive-through on your list, because my car falls in a pothole every time I go to the bank, so I appreciate if that would get on the list.
Well, it said westbound.
We can make sure we can address that.
Oh, it's but down here is what you're talking about?
Okay, any other questions of the
Okay.
two members that are here that are on the Streets Committee?
Here it is. There's nothing
I'd like
there.
to say one more thing, just to say again, all we're doing right here is just simply trying to get approval to go out for bid. We may have to come back, whatever the bids come back as, we may have to come back and cut some of these roads off. I mean, we simply don't know at this point. All we're asking right now is just to
Okay, I see.
get some roads out to bid, to get a project out there.
Oh, it's down here.
I'll make a motion, Mayor, to approve this.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. We have 5 to 1 in favor of the approving the action of the Guthrie Streets Committee recommendation, so it is approved for the 2019 capital improvement program.